The global trend is to move from conventional to renewable energy sources, of course because of the climate change and the drive towards sustainable development. And India, by the way, with its progressive policies and a robust public sector, is well on track to achieve its global energy targets well in time. However, a crucial role in this transition from fossil fuels to the renewable energy is being played by the gas sector. So today in this episode of the Public Sector Leadership Series, we will take a deep dive into understanding India's gas sector, its developments, innovations and the future outlook. So today I have with me an eminent guest. He is Mr. Sanjeev Kumar Bhatia, the Executive Director at Indraprastha Gas Ltd. I am Adarsh Som from ETGovernment and you are watching our Public Sector Leadership Series. Hi Sanjeev ji, welcome to this exclusive interview with
Thank you Adarsh, thank you for this lovely opportunity to talk to you.
Thank you Sanjeev ji for sparing time. So Sanjeev ji, to begin with, recently we have seen that IGL has expanded its gas distribution to 111 more villages in Delhi. So firstly, what was the motivation behind, how that project came into the picture and what were some key challenges that you faced during that implementation?
Yeah, others just giving you the answer exact, I would just draw some reference that by design IGL has been formed to serve the people, to clean the environment, and since by design it is promoted by two PSUs and Delhi government also has some stake. So of course it is a commercial organization, but the motive is not only creating profits, but the social responsibilities as well are at mind at the IGL. So in Delhi and NCR in the year 1998 when the IGL was formed, the main concern was to address the city pollution. So that was the area of concern and our full-fledged efforts were towards that only. Apart from that, we also took a drive that the LPG cylinders can be replaced by piped natural gas. So that was another area. So if you see, the core business of IGL is CNG and PNG. Now we have covered almost entire doable area in Delhi and NCR also, more than 20 lakhs connections in Delhi NCR, and overall in all 4 states we are catering to around 30 lakhs PNG customers. So now we have covered more or less all the feasible areas. So now the focus is that what are the remaining areas in the city. So of course Delhi again is a prime location, capital of the country. So we took the challenge that though the areas are far flung from the main city, maybe border areas, but why not to cover these villages as well to the piped natural gas, since infrastructure is available in the city. So that was the whole idea.
Great Sanjeev ji, and Sanjeev ji, you rightly pointed out that the inception of IGL was more towards taking steps on the sustainable development direction and cleaning the environment or reducing the pollution that Delhi has been facing since long, and it's the greatest menace in the city, to be very honest. Right. So if we just take that argument forward, I want to understand, since the inception of IGL, how many key initiatives have been taken on this front, and if you take into consideration the entire journey of IGL till today. So what has been the impact on ground? How can you give us a picture on that? Can you shed some light on that?
Yeah. So just to begin with, in the starting years, the pollution was on so high level that if you are traveling in an open vehicle, for example, two-wheeler or auto rickshaw, and if you are wearing a white shirt, and if you stop at a red light, you will feel your eyes burning, your collar or shirt getting blackish. So that kind of the alarming level of pollution was there. So it was a Herculean task, because conventionally we are comfortable with diesel and petrol, the fossil fuels, but government supported this initiative and we took the efforts to convert the public transport, that was mainly DTC buses at that time, on to CNG. So many challenges technically as well as administratively, there were challenges that people will resist. There were some lobbies who were comfortable with diesel and petrol. So, but with the effort of the government, support of the government, we created the infrastructure. Now the biggest challenge in place like Delhi is to get a land for setting up your infrastructure. So, in that also the government along with the Supreme Court mandate that it was there that we should provide land parcels to IGL, and DDA, one such body who provided us number of parcels at a very concessional rate. That was the I should say the core of the start of this initiative. So, slowly we converted all the DTC buses onto CNG. Around 5 to 6 lakh, 5 to 6,000 I am sorry, buses were there, and once they were converted, so the easing of the environmental pressure on Delhi started. Now, seeing the benefits of this, and once the infrastructure started spreading, the private vehicles and the auto rickshaws and the taxis, they also started converting. So, that is how the journey started, and it gained the momentum during the Commonwealth Games. During the Commonwealth Games, there was so much pressure from Delhi government that we should create maximum taxis and auto rickshaws to CNG, and whatever private buses also, school buses and other buses, they should also be converted. So, at that time, with the efforts of government and the zeal of IGL, this was possible.
So, you very rightly pointed out that at that time, of course, looking at the alarming levels of pollution, government has been quite pushy to convert the commercial vehicles to the natural gas, CNG and CBG and other sort of clean fuels. So, I want to understand IGL's role in that entire initiative. Since you have now given us an outline, can we take a deep dive and understand how has IGL driven this transformation for for the transports and for the commercial vehicles, to be particular about, to transit them from the conventional sources to the CNG, to the LNG and to the other clean sources of energy, and how has it impacted on ground if we consider Delhi, the environment of Delhi?
See, for Delhi, though the beginning was very good that we converted to public transport, but there was still a lot of to be done, because in Delhi the private cars are in huge in number. Then from the surrounding states also, people keep on coming and having their periods, the time spent there. So, the ultimately was that with the government support again, all the autos were compulsorily converted to CNG. The challenges were, one was the infrastructure, second was the getting of the right kind of kit, conversion kit, which will convert diesel and petrol vehicles to CNG. So, that was again a challenge, that we should get a right quality of the material. Initially, the dependence was only on the imported materials. Some Italian kits were there, some Argentina kit was there. So, IGL also supported the retrofitters in identifying that what kind of material is good, particularly keeping the safety aspects in mind, because even a single mishap can derail all the initiatives. So, that was again we collaborated with retrofitters, we supported them, we publicized them on our website that these are the centers available in city and NCR, where you can go and you can retrofit your vehicle. That was one point. Second is, apart from DDA, because once the DDA lands dried up, we tapped another sources also. There are so many land agencies are there, LNDO is there, MCD is there, PWD is there, DMRC is there. So, they all were having land parcels with them, which were largely unutilized. So, we collaborated with them. We devised certain models on which the station should run. Like initially it was only COCO, company owned, company operated. Then we introduced many other models like CODO, company owned, dealer operated. Then recently DODO, dealer operated, dealer owned, because certain private lands were there. The people were ready to offer the land parcel to IGL for creating the infrastructure, but they wanted a bigger pie. They wanted that they should be appointed dealer also. So, that kind of dealership were also awarded. So, this is a journey wherein we promoted people to participate. We interacted with government agencies. We tried to have land parcels. We created infrastructure in a very fast manner. Our project team and our O&M team, marketing team, they were so strengthened that the infrastructure was created in a very efficient time manner.
Great, Sanjeev ji. Great to know. And also, I think the efforts that IGL has put into that has paid off very well, because today we see all the commercial vehicles that are plying on the roads of Delhi are powered by CNG, and we also have multiple users who are the private car owners basically, who use CNG as a primary fuel. And it's not only the environmental concern, of course, that is one of the big factor, but the other factor is also that it is very efficient, in a way that people get good mileage out of their vehicles. It is not heavy on the pocket, so people are very adaptive to that. But Sanjeev ji, looking at the trend of where we are heading to, and since we are talking about transportation, so we see that EVs are the next push. The government is also pushing for the adoption of EV heavily, and somewhere or the other we have also seen that people, the private buyers have also shown interest in buying EVs. It's the new concept and people kind of are drawn towards that. Also, if we consider the environmental factor, EV do play a key role in reducing the pollution levels, especially in a city where pollution is still actually a major menace. So companies like IGL, who is into gas distribution, so where is your role in this transition, and how do you see this transition? Do you think that the role of gas, natural gas, will be obsolete once EVs get into the picture, or gas will still be a prominent source?
I am a firm believer that though we call gas as a transition fuel, but I would like to call it a bridge fuel. It's not transiting something, it has to stay longer, because if you go to the various informations available, the role of gas or availability of gas worldwide is another 75 or 80 years. So we cannot call it as a transition fuel, though it has helped to transit from polluting fossil fuels to lesser polluting fossil fuels. But as you rightly said, now EV is there. We can see in two ways. Either we can see that it is a threat, or we can see it as an opportunity. Now at IGL, we are taking this in both ways. We are preparing ourselves ready that how to tackle the threat from EV, but at the same time, any opportunities are there. So just to share with you, even IGL has also supported the government of Delhi's initiative to create EV infrastructure. We offered our CNG stations wherever possible, that chargers can be put on these stations also. So just to share with you a number, some around 25 or 30 stations are there where we have put around 30 or 40 chargers, for mostly for private cars and two-wheelers. Having said that, the Indian market is such a lovely market that it's a growing economy. So all the fuels are going to coexist here. Now since economy is growing, people's purchasing power is increasing, so more and more vehicles are on the road. But I think ultimately a balance will be achieved, wherein two-wheelers definitely will be on EV, and this is not the area of concern for IGL, because traditionally two-wheelers are not on CNG. The only challenge would be in the public transport, and to some extent in the three-wheelers or the private car owners who are buying additional vehicles. For example, a person is having one or two vehicles for his family, now he wants to have another vehicle, then he has a choice that whether he should go for CNG or for EV. But you can see that more and more models are coming to on CNG coming to Delhi and NCR. So the growth would be there. It may not be that drastic which it used to be, but it is still going to be there for a longer period.
Great, sir. I think to an extent, I resonate with what you said, that India is a big economy, and people's purchasing power are also increasing with time, and we might see that all of these fuels will coexist together. And again, somewhere this is also a fact that today, if we look at the trend, the first choice of people is not a EV, but they first want a petrol or a diesel run vehicle, and the second choice is generally EVs, because somewhere or the other ecosystem is not in place, infrastructure still lacks, and people, the trust of the people is still not with EV too much. However, we have started seeing this shift, be it beginning from the two-wheeler sector, people have started moving to EVs. You said that you see it as a threat, also you see it as an opportunity. So if I just want to ask you, what is your future outlook towards this transition, and how is IGL strategizing for the times to come?
See, as I said, for EV, we have tried to find out opportunities in this. As a part of diversification, we are exploring that if IGL can also venture into some EV landscape as a business. So that we have explored, be it battery manufacturing, be it battery swapping stations, or even entering into manufacturing of EV vehicles also. I am not saying that IGL is straight away going to this, but these are the possibilities which we keep on exploring. So at whatever level any opportunity is there, we will definitely look into. And EV definitely growing, but the concern would be, the limiting factor would be, I would say, as you rightly said, infrastructure. In cities like Delhi and surroundings, infrastructure would be available, but when you go outside the city, the infrastructure may not be available at that pace. So again, that will have a range anxiety in the commuters. So ultimately, I see that public transport like buses, intercity buses, for example, you can say the cities which are very near to Delhi, maybe Jaipur, Chandigarh, Agra, these cities which to and fro is around say 400 kilometers, their EV buses will definitely have their say. But the removal or conversion or shifting from petrol and diesel is still there. So if any dent is there because of EV, that is more on the petrol vehicles or diesel vehicles rather than on CNG vehicles. You can see that the growth of CNG vehicles year on year, month by month is increasing, and more and more EV I should say, I would put it like this, that OEMs of vehicles like Maruti and Tata, they are launching the vehicles models on CNG as well. So I think it will be a balance between maybe CNG and EV segment wise.
So, shifting the focus from transport sector to the domestic sector. So, we recently saw the decline in the adoption of domestic gas, the PNG. So, what have been certain challenges that IGL has faced in that on that side, and how are you planning to overcome those challenges?
See, there are phases when the piped natural gas faces stiff competition from alternate fuels like LPG. The reason is that the LPG is still controlled price mechanism under this thing, and government is from time to time providing the subsidies to the consumers. Whereas PNG, we have to be dependent on the imported gas also. Now, just to share with you, in India, we only have around 48 to 50% gas domestically produced. For balance 50%, we have to rely on imported gas. Now, the gas prices are very volatile. So, whenever the international market for gas is high on prices, we face a challenge that we have to source costly gas, and then at some times we may not be able to compete with LPG or other cheaper fuels like fuel oils or diesels. So, there are challenges, but I must say that it is a very convenient fuel and much safer fuel. Once you are adopting this fuel, the convenience is so high that even if some price difference is there, it is differentially not that cheaper, still people would go for PNG. Two factors I would tell you. One is the safety aspects. The PNG is a methane, it is a lighter natural gas as compared to the LPG, which is higher hydrocarbons, butane and propane is there. If any leakage is there, the LPG tends to remain within the ground, on the ground, whereas if PNG is leaked, it has the tendency to go up. So, it is much safer as compared to LPG. That is one thing. Second, cities like in Delhi, where you have small kitchens, storing 2 cylinders there, it occupies a lot of space. So, if you are having a piped natural gas, it is much beneficial to manage your kitchen space. It is online, very convenient. At present, we bill twice, bi-monthly rather. So, in 2 months we get bill. So, it is very convenient. So once you use and then you pay. So all these advantages are there with PNG.
So did you said it, I think I totally echo with that, that using a PNG connection is much convenient for people than having cylinders at home, the LPG cylinders, and then you have to change it every month, whereas the PNG, the gas pipeline, is flowing. So again, it's very convenient, and the safety insight that you just shared, that PNG, since it's lighter, it rises up, so the security hazard is comparatively, the security concern is less comparatively. I think that's a good insight. So I want to understand, like while you were sharing the challenges, you told us that you have to import gas, right? Cost becomes a major challenge, and then providing the same gas to people at a lower cost or at a competitive price becomes very difficult. So has IGL thought of venturing into the CBG space, the compressed biogas space? If you are doing, then how has been the result? I mean, what have you done, any pilot? So can you shed some light on that?
Yeah, actually IGL is doing a lot of things in CBG, and I have a lot to share with you. This compressed biogas initiative, government under the Ministry of Petroleum Natural Gas, MOPNG, they started this initiative in 2018 under the scheme called Satat, where they encouraged the private entrepreneurs that they should come, they should use the biomass available in the country, they should set up the plant, and a lot of incentives through MNRE and state governments and other bodies were provided. So if they produce CBG, compressed biogas, the government mandated companies like IGL, OGMCs, oil and gas marketing companies, that we should facilitate the off-taking of this gas. So as I said, IGL is always there in forefront to support government initiatives for any social cause. So in Satat, the initial target was very ambitious. The government set that in next 5 years, around 5,000 LOIs, letter of intent, should be issued by different companies like Indian Oil, Bharat Petroleum, GAIL, Hindustan Petroleum, IGL. So likewise, these OGMCs should issue LOIs to whosoever is willing to put the CBG plant and ensure that we will offtake your gas. So out of this 5,000 numbers, IGL was given the target of around 100. So I am happy to share with you that in initial 2 or 3 years, we issued around 52 LOIs. Out of this, 7 plants already running. We have started offtaking their gas into our network. Now when I say that we are offtaking their gas in our network, there are 2 or 3 methods by which we can offtake. One is that we take the gas in the compressed form in the cascades, cylinders, moving cylinders, and the entrepreneur delivers at our retail outlet, and from there we dispense this gas in the same fashion as CNG. That is one way. Second is that he can, if he doesn't wish to come to IGL and if he has own market, in the market he can tap the market and he can sell at its own price, whatever best price he get. Then third mode is the dispensing through pipeline. So we invited the parties that we will take your gas in our pipeline directly if it meets quality standards. So again, in the pipeline there are 2 kind of pipeline. One is the plastic pipeline, we tell it MDPE, medium density polyethylene, and another is steel pipeline. So MDP is a low pressure pipeline network and steel pipeline is a higher pressure pipeline. So initially we encourage the parties to set up direct pipeline connection up to their plant and inject their CBG into the pipeline. Wherever challenges are there, now we are upgrading that we can offtake the pipeline into steel pipeline also. So by this mean we started, but government saw that this particular initiative is not picking up because of various reasons, because either the private entrepreneurs are not getting the land or the feedstock at a reasonable price. So the progress was very slow. So now government has initiated another mandate. They have advised companies like IGL that we should invest, we should put our own plants. So in the phase 1, around 200, to be precise 195 plants are to be set up by OGMCs including IGL, where IGL has been given a target of putting 10 plants in Delhi NCR by using various feedstocks like municipal solid waste or press mud or even other agri residue. So, government is giving incentives also. They have also launched certain schemes like biomass aggregation mechanism scheme, then direct pipe injection schemes, wherein they are incentivizing the companies, be it entrepreneur or be it the companies like IGL.
Right. So Sanjeev ji, that's really great to know that you have also started venturing into CBG and how that has translated on ground. And now the government has now given the mandate to the OGMCs to set up their own plants. Again, it's a big step. Sir, I want to understand, in the northern belt where IGL has a good presence, we have certain states which are high on agrarian economy like Haryana, Punjab, Uttar Pradesh, and states like Uttar Pradesh also have dedicated policy for bioenergy. Right, so is IGL tapping into these areas and getting, as you said, that sometimes getting biomass becomes a challenge. So are we tapping into these areas where it could be a great source of biomass, agricultural residue? Also if we are utilizing this residue from let's say Haryana, Punjab, Uttar Pradesh, so we will also be reducing the pollution that we see every year happening, especially over this entire belt, during the months of November. So what is your take on that, and how is IGL looking at these states?
See, incidentally, IGL is present in majority of the states here. Apart from Delhi NCR, we are present in UP, Rajasthan and Haryana. So this is our natural inclination that either we should set up the plants, our own plants in these areas, or we should encourage the entrepreneurs to set their plants in these areas, because as you rightly said, biomass is available in abundance in these areas. So it will address two issues. One is that the waste management will be there, and second, you will utilize it and you will create energy from this. So the domestic source of energy is there and dependence on the imported gas is reduced. So that is one thing. So we are working with the government, state governments, and trying to take the leverage, take the benefit from their schemes. We have approached, like for example, UP government, they have a very well structured policy wherein they have divided all the areas into tehsil level, and they are creating clusters for biomass, so that duplication is avoided and any confusion, any ambiguity in terms of allocation of biomass for a particular region is avoided. So we are also actively participating in these initiatives, and since we are having both the advantages, we are having our infrastructure, our network in these areas, so we can readily inject this biogas or CBG into our network. And another is we are taking leverage from the government initiatives, that we are getting the land on very cheaper rates, subsidized rates, and we are putting our plants as well as we are encouraging the entrepreneurs also. So that's why these 3-4 states development of CBG is more as compared to other states.
Great, Sanjeev. So do IGL have any functional plants or any projects ongoing in Uttar Pradesh?
In Uttar Pradesh, we have already submitted our intention to UP government that you allocate land to these to IGL in certain areas. We are ready to invest. We are ready to invest our capex. That is one thing. And out of this 7 plants which I said put by various entrepreneurs, around 5 are in UP only, and more 6 to 7 plants will be operational in this financial year only. So we are very upbeat, positive on the CBG development in UP.
Thank you, Sanjeev ji. Sanjeev ji, I want to, before, like, we've almost come to the end of this conversation, and this has been really insightful, very knowledgeable conversation. So before we close the conversation, I just want to understand from you your perspective and IGL's perspective on India's overall growth towards renewable sector, clean energy sector. So how has been that development happening? What is your perspective on this? How are we faring on the energy targets that we have to achieve? And do you see India becoming among one of the leaders in the clean energy space?
Yes, definitely. I am very positive that India will definitely have its right position in the world, and it will be among top 3 or top 4 countries who will be sourcing their energy from renewable sources. As you are already aware that our Prime Minister has set a target of net zero as a country 2070, and many companies, many PSUs, oil and gas PSUs, including IGL, they are aligning their own net zero roadmaps, the strategies, aligning as per the country's target. Just to share with you, IGL has also set internally that by 2040 we should be net zero. Now, as a part of diversification also, we are exploring certain areas. The CBG and LNG, it's a natural extension of CNG. So, we are already there. As I explained, in CNG, we have established lot of infrastructure. In CBG, we are doing lot of things. Now, the next big thing is LNG. Along the Golden Quadrilateral, the government has advised companies like IGL and other OGMCs that around 50 stations should be set up along the Golden Quadrilateral, which is more than 5,000 in kilometers. Out of this, IGL has committed that around 8 to 10 stations will be put by IGL in its own geographical areas. But going beyond that, we have decided that we are ready to put LNG infrastructure anywhere across the country if transporters or fleet owners are ready to collaborate with us. We have floated recently an expression of interest seeking collaboration from transporters and corporates that you tell us at what routes you want to deploy your LNG vehicles. We are ready to put our capex, we are ready to build our infrastructure. So, that is another story. Now, we have also diversified into the solar energy also. Recently, we have signed the MOU agreement, JV agreement with RVUNL, Rajasthan Vidyut Utpadan Nigam Limited, a Rajasthan government company, where we will be putting a 500 megawatt solar power plant in Jaisalmer. And going forward, we will be putting such plants in other states also, and we are open to putting the battery energy storage system along with solar. So, these are the areas, and as a country, I am very much confident that as IGL we are participating. As a country, we have already achieved the target of solar energy, solar installations, more than 100 gigawatt already achieved, which was meant for 2030, but around 5 years early we have achieved that. So, there is no doubt that we will be achieving our targets by 2035, 2040, whatever targets we have put, and we will be sourcing around 500 gigawatt of the total energy out of some 950 or 1000 gigawatt projected by 2040. More than 50% will be through renewables. That is the kind of scenario will be there.
Thank you, Sanjeev ji. And I think it is a matter of pride that India has achieved its half of its overall energy targets 5 years before the deadline, and that's wonderful to know.
A word of caution will be there only, that on the front of setting up of the plants will be there, but the matching infrastructure for evacuation of this energy will be a challenge, and I am hopeful that the state governments and central governments and various agencies, they are taking step in this particular area to creating infrastructure for evacuation of the electricity.
And so this is the very critical area, and I think we need active collaborations from the private sector as well, from state governments and the DISCOMs as well, to come together and create solutions for this area. Also, like the way you mentioned about IGL's initiatives over the Golden Quadrilateral, and how you will be coming up with 8 to 10 stations, and you are also open to set up plants across the country. You have also ventured into solar power. So this just shows that how flexible is your company to basically give a push towards sustainable development and adopt more and more avenues, which is not only beneficial for the business but also gives push to the clean energy agenda of the entire world that is going, and India of course is leading its path. So thank you, sir. Thank you for sharing all that knowledge, those insights.
It's my pleasure to talk to you.
Ji, so it was very wonderful talking to you.
Thank you.
Thank you.